I'm going to make a shrimp soup with saffron. Years ago, when I was an apprentice in the Waldorf, well, this is the amount of saffron threads I'm going to use. You get that's a half a teaspoon. They taught me you don't just throw the threads in, you put them with the onions. And this way, more of the flavor. There, so you'll see what happens. Cut up the onions nice and small, and the saffron. See how it's turning color? You get more flavor from the saffron. Remember, it's saffron, not saffron, which is something entirely different, which has nothing compared to saffron. Now I can smell this already. So when I sweat the onions up, more flavor is going to come out. That's the only thing I wanted to show you before I start the recipe. So I'm going to sweat all the vegetables up. You don't need a lot of oil in there to do that. After a couple of minutes, then I'll add the tomato, because I want to sweat this without putting the tomato, which will make it watery right away. But this is, and there's no weight on this, but you'll see how much it gives off. Black seaweed. Not the sheets, but little pieces, which I had for a long time. So I'm just going to throw it in there. And that'll expand to whatever size. And then we also have, we're going to put some lemon zest in there. Let me move this a little. Not much. Just watch your fingers. Well, you see how much I scraped off. Not a lot, maybe one more shot over here. Okay, that's it on the lemon zest. So a few minutes of this, and in there I put some dry thyme and some dry basil. This is just going to be for one person, me. Even though I'm making shrimps for dinner tonight, I don't want mine cooked in the usual way, like sauteed in butter and what? And white wine and heavy cream. Don't bang, so that's that. Sweat this up another second. Let me see if I have some white wine. That always goes well with shrimp. Dry white wine. And I'm not, you see a lot of recipes. People use chicken stock and use seafood, clam juice, whatever. No. If I'm eating seafood, it's going to be a fish stock or the stock from the shrimps or from lobster. That's the stock I'm using. So I always have leftover stock, shrimp stock in the freezer, because quite often I peel the shrimps and then we cook the shrimp separate and don't use the sauce. Anyway, so That's enough sweating. I'm going to put the tomatoes in. It may look like a lot of tomatoes, but I happen to love, that's me. You can cut the tomatoes down if you wish. The flavor that the tomatoes give off, especially in a seafood type soup. See, already this has a nice aroma. And I'm using, I'm going to cook it with couscous. The shrimps are not going to be added until the last, minute. After the couscous is done, the broth is tasty, then I will add the shrimp. So we're sweating this up, and you're not going to watch me do this. It's ridiculous. So in a few minutes, I'll add the stock. So I got a problem. I can't open a bottle of white wine because we're going on vacation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the couscous, and the only thing I have open is a bottle of tequila. So that's going in there. And then we have the fish stock, which I have to get in there like pronto. And that, I should measure this, but you know what? No, we do it by eye. That's the fish stock. Put that right there. Give this a stir. Let's see, kind of a, not bad. That the tequila wasn't bad at all. So that was a quarter of a cup. I have to write that down. And let us now simmer this, because I don't think I have to add any liquid at all. Don't forget, it's just me for dinner. That's going to be fine. Let that cook for about a half hour. It's been a half hour. So I'm putting my shrimps in there. Mix that up. Maybe it's more like a stew, a couscous shrimp stew. You put a little more seafood in there, broth, it would be a soup. And this way, you see how that seaweed, black seaweed, it's just little pieces. I'll cover this. That's a good meal for me. And 1 minute, we're done. Just a little parsley or scallions or whatever you like. Or I'm going to add just a teaspoon of parsley. If I was using scallions, I would have put much more, like maybe a tablespoon or two, because I love the way it looks and tastes. And let me get a bowl. It looks like I'm going to have to use a large bowl. You could use 1/8 of a cup of quinoa, but this is my dinner. So I needed to fill me up. And that's it. Add the parsley, give it a mix. Shut it off. And we're done. Now the only thing I have to do, taste it just to make sure that the salt is okay, because I don't put a lot of salt in my food, but I want it to taste good. So, very interesting. And this way, when you cut up the shrimps, at least you have shrimps all over the place. Usually they just throw the whole shrimps in, which would be 6 shrimps in there, and then they're gone. This way, I'm double dipping. You know, that tequila gave it a nice flavor. Anyway, that's it. I taste the saffron. I hope you enjoy it.